It's going to be a while here. Get this right. It's going to be a while here. Get this right. It's going to be a while here. All right, we'll get started here in just a moment. Let's see. Spy sitting touched that Keltner channel, which if I go back, I don't think that's where it was a couple days ago. But RSI, we're weakening up. We broke down. So just taking it easy. A lot of things that we've been looking at, although the SPY being more important overall, we're really looking at a lot of these cues. There's some potential here for possibly this being what we're really looking at, but we'd have to be very, very cautious about that. Potentially, right? I mean, RSI's is giving us nothing. Maybe. IYH. Meh. It's a good spot for a bounce, right? Right off that monthly anchored VWAP. It's interesting. I mean, I'm struggling here to really find a strong candidate. They announced an offering, came down, bounced right off the Keltner channel. Trading back above here, so still good, still uptrend here, right? So I'm still holding off on adjusting my buy and sell targets. My buy is definitely gonna be bumped up here. The data's good. I don't see why it would want to completely revert back down to $2 anytime soon. There's enough volume here to basically hold it above. Maybe it comes down into the twos, but I mean probably the buy threshold's near 3 at this point. So I'll adjust that today. Cirrus, I'm still watching. I can't believe yesterday I put the 175 in. Or 176 as our buy target. I think she nailed 176. So once it's below 176, so 175. I made a mental mistake. I had one. No, I'm not. I promise you, I had 176 is where I wanted to grab it. I should have put 177 into the price alert because that's what is below 177. So 176 would be what would really trigger it. So unfortunately, it didn't trigger. In the chat, I did not grab anything myself because I was looking for probably more of a double bottom, but she just popped up and was grinding away. So notice where it hit yesterday was 307 the high. Oh my gosh. Guys, it's just a giant game. That's all it is. It's a giant game. That line was there before yesterday, by the way. It's all like, it's amazing how you can just nail it to the dot. And it's not like me just, looking into into a puddle or into a pool and, the numbers just appear to me. These are things that computers have figured out, and all I've done is find the pulse of that computer, and that's where it's going to want to go. How's it acting for each individual ticker? What are the parameters that whatever algorithm that's handling this, market makers that are manipulating it, doing the volume, where are they going to want to go, and why, how far are they willing to go, and when? That's all we need to know, and we just take advantage of it. Anyway, next. Let's see. Nothing else that, I mean, MBIO has, like, it just seems to be very volatile. So there's a couple, why did they had data, right, from their CAR-T a while ago, didn't they? Would that be 13 days ago? It would be. Came up and nailed that, huh? Yeah, that City of Hope trial. We gotta, the problem is that they just can't push it quick enough. That's the big thing about MBIO, is that this CAR-T is good, but by the time these guys get these CAR-Ts all the way through, it'll be worth, it'll be good for somebody, and they'll have probably some commercial success, but it's like, it just seems like we're going to be, the moment that this gets going, we're going to have something else a few years later, maybe 5 years later, there's something else that's maybe not at that point making it to the market, but we'll have data, probably by 2030 that shows that there's something else is coming through, right? More of a vaccine, maybe the mRNA stuff really starts to work out a lot better, and there's enough data that shows that it works. Now, that I'm never going to say like CAR-T is ever going to go away, because, hey, some people just have, even if you gave their immune system the ingredients, or I shouldn't say the ingredients, the instructions, the recipe, like this is what you need to go and figure out, and I guess the marching orders, you'd say, the marching orders to go and attack the cancer, the person's immune system might be the main reason, right? They just don't have enough. They don't have enough robust T cells or NK cells, right? Or macrophages, or whatever part of the immune system that just needs to be, or all of it in general, that's just not working correctly, right? So what has to happen? You got to give them some immune system, T cells. And if you can, I guess you're constructing or engineering these T cells to attack a specific cancer type, you're in good. That's still always going to be something that we can use. Just like how radiation and surgeries, although seem extremely archaic, they are still viable, and those things are only getting better, right? We're getting better at doing the surgeries. They're less invasive. The radiation is more targeted, right? Radiopharmaceuticals are now a thing. Even the more or archaic, origins, therapies that have archaic origins still need to be pushed, right? Just because there's a new, industry, or sorry, I should say, a new discipline within oncology, a new avenue, a new market, something else to go with, doesn't mean we should look away from the stuff that's been working. And again, although can be a little bit more invasive, they do work. And so as we add more tools to the toolbox, that doesn't mean we don't sit around and look at the hammer and say, oh, that's just a hammer, it's over and done with. Like, no, how do we improve the hammer, right? We make it so it's more, better balanced, right? It's made of better materials, all those things. Same thing with like some of these older therapies for oncology and almost every other discipline that we can think of. So back to the CAR T cell, it's probably losing its luster in terms of investments, and it probably might be a hard investment 5 years from now, because again, maybe we come up with something that's a little more advanced. I have a few things in mind, but if those things start to show that, hey, the CAR T cell in these certain, indications is really not going to have as much of a market as we thought, it's going to have another contender. Anything that's promoting or is primarily focused on T cells or cell therapies in general are probably going to take a hit as an investment. Now, as an actual therapy, probably not. I mean, maybe they won't really have as much commercial success, but that doesn't mean the therapy itself will be completely antiquated. Oh, there you go. There's my rant for the day. Back to looking at bioreactor. I saw earlier there was barely anybody moving, this is weird. Do they all look like that? This might be wrong. But look at that, though. There's a lot of buckles in there, huh? Yeah, a lot of buckles, guys. Nothing really going on. That might not be right. It's murder. Bayer. There we go. Beautiful. That's not bad. It's ugly, right? But it's like the ugly dog. You know, it's like that ugly dog. You're like, yeah, I guess this is my type of situation because I'm looking for seller's exhaustion, right? Like, why? Look at that, guys. And you can start to see, even though. So when's the setup start to become powerful, right? So we're on that right now. Let me zoom in here. We have a minute before the open, and I might be looking at Bayer here today. I'm still watching Cirrus, but Bayer might be what we really should be taking a look at. Let's draw this in a little better. So we're sitting right on top of that sucker, right? And you can see we got this down here. Same exact time. So we're getting to a point where, hey, we can break up or down, guys. Now, path of least resistance is lower, but now we're getting a divergence in fundamentals, right? It's not great. Things don't look great for Bayer. But are we at a point where Bayer's still moving forward? Bayer's still I mean, they have something. They have a major concern with all the litigations, right? But then they're still moving forward with other things that they own. So if they have to sell off Monsanto or completely split up the company in some way, now, will investors get a raw deal there? Maybe. But also, are you willing to treat Bayer as a speculative investment right now and say, what happens if these guys just keep eating it and they just Johnson & Johnson themselves and just keep moving forward, keep dealing with it, finding ways to, improve their long-term outlook, and people just keep saying, oh, yeah, like, how is it that this world's going to survive without Bayer? They have Monsanto. Guess what? Monsanto still brings in business. The thing that everybody's worried about is also huge money. Now, maybe they have to get rid of Monsanto and someone's got to, I mean, who knows, but get something for that in return. That way, oh gosh, who knows what they can do. But that business, Monsanto business, is still huge. Bayer could probably, they'll find a way to get out of this, guys. And if they don't, I mean, it's not like I'm sitting here and saying everybody goes all in on this. That's ridiculous, but I'm not freaking out, that's for sure. So I'm going to put Bayer at the top, guys. I'm going to leave it there. Seems like the market's kind of limping into the day. Bayer might be a good spot to just add something real quick, and I think I might pull the trigger on that. Yeah, I'll take Bayer here. I'll take Bayer here. All right. That's my first move of the day. Bayer. Anything else to make note of? Why are you... Let's look at your daily. Are you I think they might retest today. Okay, so they are. So here's the next angle of attack. So they let it out. Right? Look at how clean that is. She's getting knocked down, but she's still trading above the anchored VWAP. So if she holds here, everything's fine. This is just all shaking out. The angle of attack is steep enough, but if she hammers up and we get a... Where would you do it? I mean, if the whole market decides to give you a bump today, this would be a spot to do it. Diamonds are heavy? Yeah. Okay. Alright, so we'll just wait. But today might be a day to say, hey, if it does... I mean, if there's a move on Pfizer today... That engulfing, so it would be like right now. So Pfizer, I'll add. So I got Bayer and Pfizer today. Nothing there. Let's check how this Pfizer move's going here. So if she stays above 50%, so yeah, basically right here. I mean, she could probably go down maybe to this candle, the low of here. So 27.28, which, you know, is not much. Right there. She holds that. It's under low volume, right? So, like, big opening candle, lows, you got two decent volume candle. Well, decent. I mean, it slowly grinds up, but what you're looking for is when it comes down, it's low volume, right? Really dried up. So now we got a little bit moving up here. So what's this tell you? You're waiting for probably the break of this high, which would be a little bit of a battle with this anchored VWAP. The moment it gets over that anchored VWAP, you could start something, right? Say this is a day trade, you could start something, and then, you know, obviously, your out is probably below the lows here. Which you'd have to... I mean, you have to go back and check pre-market if there's a lower low than that, but... Because right now it looks like she's fading into it, right? So this is where you can add something, you start something here. Expecting it to struggle, right? It's going to have a moment where it's going to run into some resistance, right? Sellers might defend against the... Oh, let's see, we got another minute here. See? Now we're potentially seeing that anchored VWAP as support, and now you can hang out here. You've established position. Now your real confirmation is breaking of the high, right? High of the day. Because the high would be at least a breakout here, so you're not going to really hammer it until she gets above 27.65, which is not that far away. And so your low would be 27, yeah, so maybe you just hang on 27.19. Is there a previous spot here? Yeah, you could probably even wait a little bit longer on that. And this is, again, a day trade. But we're looking at it right now. Long-term wise, let's go back to the 1 minute here. There you go. Well, that was a trade I missed. Anyway. Let's see. Angle of attack. Yeah, so I can probably maybe see if there's a spot where she wants to hold. She breaks this, comes back down, and maybe we can add here. That's the anchored VWAP from the high. What's the anchored VWAP? Where's 930? So you can do this now, right? Which is the same. Okay, it's about the same. Yeah, you can see the angle of attack is solid. All right. Anyway, leave it there. Again, I got another post coming today. See, this is where you can possibly get it right here. Just a little bit of move lower. Tag it. Volume is low, so anytime there's a pullback, it's going up, there's a pullback, and that volume on the pullback's lower than, the green candles, essentially, right? They're going up. You're looking good. Yeah, see, that's a spot you could have grabbed something more. And then you can maybe even add on a bounce. Yeah, send anything in the chat.